Guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be trying out the Wet n Wild Clarifying Finishing Powder. They came with 5 shades. It runs for $3.99, and today we're going to be testing this out. Basically, we're going to see, is it actually worth trying out? It is obviously supposed to give us a matte finish, light amount of coverage, reduce the size of pores and redness on our skin, and it's supposed to be really nourishing all at the same time. I picked up a light fair. And so I picked it up because it looks like a banana powder to me. So I figured, you know what, we're going to apply this powder on the areas on our face where I have applied on concealer, and we're just going to see what it's all about and how it wears throughout the entire day. So I'm going to do a few check-ins with you, give you up close clips of how my skin is currently looking. And don't get fooled just because it looks like this right now. I just finished doing my makeup, so that's why it looks like this right now. So we'll see at the end. Stay tuned for the end, girls. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Everything will be linked down below as always. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and let's jump on in and finish on this review video. So for today's video, the foundation that I've actually applied on is from Hourglass, and this is the Vanish Stick Foundation. This is in the shade Golden Natural. I do find it to be a little golden for me. I probably should get a shade lighter than this one, but I feel like with the concealer and powders and everything that I'll use, I feel like we can make it work for today's video. For the concealer that I've applied on, because I applied on a quick, like one little layer on really quickly, it is from e.l.f. This is a 16-hour camo concealer, and this is the matte finish in the shade Medium Warm. I absolutely love this concealer, you guys. It's like my holy grail. It's my go-to. I've repurchased this so many times because it's just so good. I absolutely love the doe applicator and the coverage that it gives. For our setting powder that we're going to actually use as a banana powder, this is obviously from Wet n Wild. This is a Bare Focus, but this is basically it. I love the pan size. It's a really good size. I feel like this could last you essentially a really long time, and I really love that it's like small, compact. I love the price point, $3.99. I feel like that is super affordable. Everyone can afford this, and I absolutely love the undertone to this. This is why I purchased this specifically as an under eye area to like brighten up the areas where I've applied on concealer, because it has like a slight yellow undertone to it that I honestly can't see this really being like a face powder for someone unless you were really fair with like a yellow undertone to your skin. But I just really love it. It reminds me so much of my all-time favorite HD finishing banana powder from NOYX. It's slightly more of a yellow undertone than the one from Wet n Wild, but they are somewhat so similar in the finish to the skin that I absolutely love. Granted, this one from NYX runs for about $10 around there, depending on obviously where you pick it up. So I'm going to go ahead and apply on a little bit more concealer just because I do feel like I look a little tired today. So I feel like I need a little bit more coverage. So I'm going to go in, apply a little bit more, and then I'm going to go in with my Beauty Bakery sponge and then blend everything out. I'm going to go ahead and dive on in and apply on this setting powder. I'm going to use my Real Techniques face powder brush that I love to use. And I'm just going to go in and apply on this powder on the areas that I've applied on this concealer. And by the way, so far I'm noticing there is a good amount of fallout when I'm dabbing my brush into the pan. But really quickly, before I forget, I'm going to go in with my Beauty Bakery sponge and blend out the concealer under the eye area, because the last thing I want to do is set everything into place while it's creasing. And then I'm going to go back in and set the areas where I've applied on this concealer. A quick tip, just in case you didn't know this, is do your best not to over powder, especially under the eye area, just because if you're expressive just like me, sometimes I notice, even when I'm filming and I'm editing my videos, I notice that sometimes I over powder and then I'm, making facial expressions, and just the fine lines tend to kind of look a little bit more enhanced than other days when I'm just not applying as much powder. So just be cautious when it comes to that. I figured I would share it just in case you didn't know that or think of that. So this is basically how my skin is currently looking. Comment down below and I'll do an up close clip so you can see for yourself and make your own judgment. Keep in mind that I've only applied on this powder on the areas where I've applied on the concealer, but so far I feel like it's wearing really well. It set everything into place. It gave me a little bit of that brightness. It definitely has a really pretty matte finish, which I personally love, and it doesn't feel heavy. I don't feel it's enhanced any of the texture or fine lines on my skin, and so far I really love the finish to it. I feel like it gave me that subtle brightness without looking too yellow, without having, too much of a pigment to it, in my personal opinion. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to setting the rest of areas on my face. I figured we can do that together. together. And the rest of the areas on my face, I like to go in with my MAC Studio Fix MAC Studio Fix face powder, and this is in the shade C4. I'm already hitting pan, but it's one of my all-time favorites powders, and I'm just gonna go in again with the same brush we were using earlier, and I'm just gonna go in and set the rest of the areas on my face where I have on foundation. Everything is now set into place, so I'm going to give you a quick run through, a quick up close clip of how my skin is currently looking after I applied on face powder. Comment down below on your thoughts. Do you guys see the difference? I feel like the face powder gives me a little bit more warmth, and the banana powder gives me a little bit of that brightness, a little bit more dimension, and this is literally the order that I do my makeup. So in case you're wondering, this is basically it, and I absolutely love it. It has a really beautiful finish under the eye area. It hasn't enhanced any of the texture, hasn't, I feel like, settled in my fine lines. I love the brightness that it gives. It feels really nice and light. I don't feel like I have like a layer of something on my skin. So far so good. I'm really loving this setting powder. Again, I feel like it has like the right yellow undertone that it looks really, really nice on without looking too yellow. So I'm gonna quickly do my makeup off camera, and then before I know it, I'll be back. So I am back. I just finished filming a review video on an eyeshadow primer, and let me tell you, that on alone was a whole journey, so stay tuned for that video. But this is basically it. This is how my skin is currently looking, and like expected, it gives me a beautiful, flawless finish. It hasn't settled into the fine lines or enhanced the texture on my skin. To be really honest, I don't deal with like pores, enlarged pores, or anything like that. My main issue is just combination oily skin. The T-zone gets really oily, and obviously the hyperpigmentation that I have on top of my cheekbones. But overall, I love the brightness that this powder gave to my skin. It's really lightweight. I personally really love it. To be honest, I don't think I mentioned this earlier, so I'm going to mention it again if I already mentioned it for some reason that I forgot. But this powder has a good amount of fallout. When you dip your brush into the pan, it kind of gets all over the place. It'll get on your hands, it'll get on your clothes, on your desk. So just keep that in mind when purchasing this, or if you're considering to purchase this, because it does give you a beautiful finish, but it does have a lot of fallout. But at the same time, I think to myself, what do you expect when it comes to a powder like this that's $3.99? You know, it's not gonna be entirely the best. So that is the only thing. So I'll check with you guys in a few hours to give you my second update on how my skin is currently looking. So I will see you all in a bit. So I am back. I'm doing my second update with you guys so you can see how my skin is currently looking. We are almost at the end of our day, and I feel like my skin is looking really good. Granted, I'm wearing something a little different. My makeup, my lip color is a little different. I changed things up really quickly because I wanted to film another video, and I didn't want to completely or entirely wear the same thing. There are 3 different videos, but this is basically it. I promise you it's the same day, but so far my skin is looking really good. It hasn't settled in the fine lines. It hasn't enhanced the texture. I feel like it's giving me a really pretty smooth appearance on my skin, and so far so good. So I'll do an up close clip. Comment down below what you think, and as always, I will see you guys in a few hours to give you my last and final check-in on how my skin is currently looking. Alright, you guys, this is basically it. I am doing my last and final check-in with you. Comment down below on your thoughts on how my skin is currently looking. I'll make sure I'll do an up-close clip so you can get a good view on how my situation's going on right now. But pretty much I feel like the T-zone area is looking pretty oily. I definitely feel like I can go in with a blotting sheet to remove the excess oil. I can even feel it on my skin. But overall, I feel like my skin is looking really good. Like, I feel like if I can just remove the excess oil, I can actually wear this foundation and wear my makeup for a few more hours. Overall, the finish is beautiful. I love the undertone to this powder. I love that it has a slight yellow undertone. It's not too pigmented. It mattifies everything. It sets into place really nicely to increase or separate or anything like that. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin. And I love the finish that it has to it. I feel like $3.99 is a really good price point. This will last you a really long time. The only downside, obviously, is that there's a good amount of fallout when you're dabbing your brush into this pan, which makes sense because it's $3.99. I mean, what do you honestly expect when it comes to, you know, really affordable powder? But nonetheless, it has a really pretty finish. It's definitely worth trying to, you know, test out for yourself and see if it's actually something that you would personally like. I feel like this would be a perfect powder and undertone during the fall winter season when I'm a little fairer than my summer springtime shade. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Everything will be linked down below as always. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. I love you all so much. Bye!